Assistance dogs are becoming an increasingly popular form of assistive technology for people with disabilities, enabling them to live more independently. However, in Queensland, the process of obtaining and partnering with an assistance dog is fraught with various physical and non-physical barriers, leading to harassment and discrimination, impacting the lives of people with disabilities. Basic Rights Queensland is a legal centre that focuses on disability rights. They aim to better understand the experiences of assistance dog handlers and the barriers that they encounter. Working in conjunction with the University of Queensland, this research project has been guided by the following questions. What are the experiences of obtaining and partnering with an assistance dog, and what do these experiences tell us about the barriers to access faced by people with disabilities? The research team employed 15 semi-structured interviews with assistance dog handlers to gain insights into the access barriers that they encounter. Participants were recruited through opportunity sampling and referrals from Basic Rights Queensland. Data analysis involved coding to identify and explore central themes in participants' experiences. 5 central themes were identified. Participants found it challenging to access and understand the legislation surrounding assistance dogs. In Queensland, state and federal legislation relating to assistance dogs and their handlers operate concurrently. The DDA, or the Disability Discrimination Act, provides access to a wide pool of training providers, including the option to self-train. This typically reduces costs and wait times. GAD, or the Disability Specific Guide Hearing and Assistance Dog Act, has a restricted set of providers and dog training is generally more expensive. However, it provides handlers simplicity in their support and identification. This overlap of legislation produces a 3-tiered hierarchy of dogs, according to their protections and public access rights. This tiered system leads to uncertainty, unclear rights, and instances of discrimination.
The Australian laws are really so complicated. It's so hard.
The Disability Discrimination Act was critiqued for its ambiguous language and lack of standardisation. For assistance dogs operating under this Act, the absence of standardised identification or training created challenges for participants.
The Disability Discrimination Act says that an assistance dog needs to meet the standards of hygiene and behaviour of an animal in a public place. That's not very specific.
There's a lot of ambiguity around what the word trained means.
Accessing funding for assistance dogs from government agencies such as the Department of Veterans Affairs and the National Disability Insurance Scheme proved difficult, with long wait times and limited financial coverage. Veterans Affairs utilise specific approved dog training providers, while NDIS primarily fund the maintenance costs and not the cost of the dog or their required training. The discrepancy between the perceived value and the cost-benefit of assistance dogs was noted, with the National Disability Insurance Scheme said to view assistance dogs as a luxury rather than as an essential disability aid or as an assistive technology.
I'm asking for my need. I'm not asking for my want.
Participants frequently encountered unwanted interactions and denied access in public spaces. They faced difficulties accessing services like ride-sharing and accommodation, and had to deal with intrusive questioning from members of the public. Handlers found the process of self-advocating and educating the public on assistance dogs mentally exhausting and potentially futile.
A few people like at the shops come out right and ask, "What's it for?" "Oh my god, that's intrusive."
Participants perceived negative public interactions as resulting from a lack of public awareness about assistance dogs, highlighting the need for better public understanding through education. Assistance dog handlers developed unofficial resourcefulness strategies to navigate legislative and social gaps. These strategies included creating information cards, stickers, and patches to identify their assistance dogs, sharing experiences on social media groups, and using strategic omission to avoid invasive questioning by members of the public. Using strategic omission, handlers obfuscated invasive questioning by members of the public by substituting or portraying their disabilities differently. For example, claiming that their assistance dog is trained for epilepsy instead of PTSD, or using a mobility crutch to give the impression of a physical disability which they believed would invite less questioning than their own invisible disability. Lifestyle adjustments such as repetition, pre-planning, and avoidance of certain places were adopted to minimise denied access experiences.
I wasn't assertive enough to say no. He's allowed in here. So it's easier for me to hand over a card and say, here you go, this is what he does and who I am, and what legislation protects us.
These themes speak to the experiences of assistance dog handlers in Queensland. They speak to the need for further support and clarity around their rights. Findings from this research have implications for shaping policies and practices to better accommodate assistance dogs and their handlers.